I'm Isaac Wagaba, the founder and director of Canaan Children's Transit Center here in Jinja. First of all, I'm very grateful and very excited to sit in front of my brethren, visitors from USA, led by Mama Amanda and his husband. All of you, as you are here, it is a new experience which you are going to hear, and to let you know that God whom we serve, He speaks. God really speaks. It was God, God, let me say, I became a Christian in 1970. I was born in an Episcopal family. That's where I was raised up. So actually, my dad and mom used to smoke, yet they were Episcopal members. Sometimes to take alcohol, yet they were Episcopal people. But 70, when I was still in the school, then I had missionaries from America, Paul Eaton from Florida. He's one of the missionaries who used it to visit our school. And they used it to come with guitars, singing. So one day, I was touched in my heart. And in 70, June 11th, I surrendered all to Jesus. I was 18 years. I really liked the Christian lifestyles. I liked singing. And in 71, I started to catch up preaching, to evangelize. I used it to visit or to travel with some of the missionaries as a younger guy, traveling together, sharing the love of Jesus Christ with others. In 72, the church where I was attending in a local church, the pastor liked me, and I was inspired, and I was very, 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 I was impressed with serving God. So they appointed me as a youth pastor. In 71, I was in the course of 1 year, Bible seminary in 1 year. Then 72, I was appointed as a youth pastor in the church. Then I was 20 by then. 72, I was 20. Okay. Now 71, we got a new government, which was led by a Muslim. He's there in the picture there. It's called Idi Amin Dada. That gentleman, on the last one, here. On my right, on my right, down here. The last one here. Then where you can read Idi Amin Dada. He was a Muslim. So he took over the government in 1971. When he took over, many people died because he used the power, shooting, fighting, until he overthrew the other government and then took over. From 71 to 79, Amin was killing people. But from 71, 72, up to 75, it was still a little bit peace. But 76, that's when he started persecuting the church of all Christianity, except three denominations: Muslim, Catholic, and Episcopal. But still some of them were killed because they were using the Bible. Now 76, he announced on the televisions, TV, newspaper that I have banned all the Christians, churches. By then I was a full pastor because 75, 76, I was in the Bible seminary again in Kampala, which was led by the Canadian people. They were missionaries from Vancouver, BC. They worked together with Americans. So they established the Bible seminary to help people. However, we had to pay some little money, but it was not very bad because it was sponsored. So during that time, many people, when he announced that all churches are not allowed to worship, they started fighting the missionaries. He started with Indians. He announced that all Indians, you have been given 2 months to leave the country. But in 2 weeks, the troops, the soldiers started persecuting, looting the Indians, and the men were killed in just 2 weeks. Then in 1 month, he announced that now the following people, American, Canadians, and the British people from England, UK. 3. American was the target, Canadian, and the United Kingdom. Now, he started saying, I will begin with missionaries because they are praying, they are dealing with Israelites. I mean, he didn't like the Israelites, the Jews. No, he didn't. Now, he discovered, maybe people told him that the Christians are praying peace to Israel. So Amin was fighting Israelites. Now, he started persecuting missionaries, killing one. Every week you hear has killed people from this. 2 missionaries has been killed. 1 missionary has been killed, like that. Now 77, he started saying that all pastors like me, African, Ugandan pastors, who are dealing, associating, has any connection with the white, also we are going to take in the prison. But he didn't take us in the prison. Instead, he was just killing. In the government, in Amin's government, there was no judges, there was no police, there was no law. He was the chief justice himself. He was a judge. He was a police. He was everything. He could just command, kill him. That's only that. There was no law. So in 77, he said that we are going to now we want to deal with all African pastors who are working with missionaries. So this church where I am is called Full Gospel, and I have told you that Full Gospel was brought with missionaries from America and Canada. Of course, they used to see me with other people preaching the gospel. I was a younger man, just preaching the gospel, only that, because I liked very much evangelism. So the police, the soldiers, and so on, they started following me, looking for me. That boy is a spy. He's a rebel. They started saying that I am training the rebels to invade the government. Now, unfortunately, one time they found me in the mountain there with a crowd of people. And so they arrested me. They took me in the jail for 1 week. The place is called Lugazi. While I was there, they started investigating in the community here asking. Now the Muslims told the government officials that boy Isaac, he's always preaching the gospel. He's a rebel. Okay, when I came back, I started underground movement. One day, the troops came here. There were only 3 with a local chief to warn me. Please, Isaac, we stopped you not to pray, not to worship, not to enter in any church, not to have a group of 3 people or 4 people. You are not allowed to meet anyone, like even except you and your wife and children. We have the 2 children. That was now 77, because I married 74. Now, I said, I will not stop. I told them, I will not stop. I will not stop. And so that's when I started doing something called the underground movement. Because I was leading some churches. I planted churches, small churches in different communities. Now I was riding a bicycle. By then I had a bicycle. So I visited every pastor, telling him, please don't give up. Don't give up. So we used to come together in somebody's house, like home cell, like home cell. So 2 families, or 3 families, we come together. I lead them in prayers. Now another day, I go to another place. We meet as a family, families, 4 people, 4 families, 3 families. I just rotating like that. Now, by doing that, they discovered me again. That, this boy has big head. So they started following me also. Isaac, you are leading church. You are making churches. You have churches. You have many churches. You have churches. Now one day, I didn't know that the other people were very serious, and they put it in their newspaper, the picture, Isaac wanted. Now, one day I was with pastors here in my house. My house was very small, very small. We were like 4. I was the 6th one. Pastors from the community, praying. Now, a certain neighbor who was a Muslim aside there, he betrayed me. He went to the police. He had a motorcycle, and he went to the police. By that time, the police was like soldiers and Muslims, moreover, because you had to be a Muslim in order to be a police or a soldier. Now they came on the very big truck. It was 4 p.m. Friday. They came. They asked, where is a pastor of this place? In Swahili. Wapi mwalimu ya hapa? They started kicking the door because it was closed. They hit the door, and the door was opened and fell down. And they entered in the house. They were very tall. Because Amini's tribal are from the west. Western Nile, like Sudan. They are very tall, huge. Now, they asked among the 6 people, including me, who is Isaac here among you? Who is Isaac? I kept quiet, and all of us, we kept quiet, because we knew what was going on, what was going to take place. Now, when we kept quiet, that's when they brought the newspaper. We are looking for this boy, younger man. We are looking for this younger man. Where is he? And the one said, he's the one. And they started kicking me. I fell down. They started hitting me with their big shoes. everywhere. Now I started bleeding, everything. They brought chain from their truck, very big chain, heavy. And they arrested my hands behind and the legs, and they dumped me on the truck. That was my end. Now, God is so grateful. Now, my mom, my Rebecca, we had two boys. Samuel was young, and James was the firstborn, 6 and 4 years. No. 3 and 4. 3 and 2. Now, Mama Rebecca, I don't know how she escaped with the boys outside and started. I don't know, I can't tell, I don't know. But they arrested me, they dumped me on the truck, and on the truck there was other pastors from other communities. They were laid down. I think all of us were like 7 or 8 men there. So we were just laid down like this. But me, I was on the chain. Others, no. Just were beaten, but they were not arrested, their hands. So they drove us. The place is called Lugazi. That's on your way to Kampala, the town. By then, it was like 8 p.m. We stayed there almost midnight, bringing other people dumping on us until we were like 25 on the truck. Some were politicians, others businessmen. So our truck was a cell where they put the prisoners. Now in like 1 maybe 2 a.m. That's when they started driving to Kampala. I think we arrived there around maybe 4 a.m. They dumped us in a small cell, smaller room, 10 by 10 feet, but we are like 27 people in the smallest room. You couldn't stand, no, you can't sit, you can't stand. We are like this until 9 a.m. standing. And for your information, our clothes were taken when all the underwears. Okay, their life was very hard. Remember, I was beaten already, tired, nothing was, I was able to eat or to drink. I was almost going to die, really. I collapsed. Now, around 10 a.m. morning, the 3 guys came, the soldiers. They asked us, they opened the door. How many Christians here? Everyone kept quiet. No one responded. Who are the Christians here? Raise up your hands. No one. No one raised their hands. You people, you are stubborn. We are going to kill you. But they did it. They were annoyed. They called with us. They abused. They did what? They locked the door and they went back. Now after like maybe, but we are praying. We are in prayers. After like maybe an hour. Now the other group came. Other group came. We are very, 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 very full with wrath, very angry. They said, if anyone wants to save his life, renounce Jesus. But if you want to die, stand as a Christian. How many Christians here among you? Now, the Spirit told some of us, we were like 9 who raised up their hands. First time we were like 9. Who are Christians among you? I raised. Because I remembered the scripture which says, if you will deny, if you will deny, you will be ashamed in front of people. I will be ashamed in front of men. I mean, if you will be ashamed me in front of men, also Jesus said I will be ashamed in front of my Father. So I remember that I should not be ashamed to be a Christian, to be called a Christian. I raised up my hand. And my brother here was Pastor John from Baptist Church. Here, Baptist Church is very strong, very strong. That is the strongest church in Uganda, the Baptist. So many pastors were from the Baptist. So my brother, and he was my real friend from Jinja. So he was arrested. I met him on the track. I didn't know that he was arrested also, but we met on the track. So he said, I am a Christian. And Isaac, I am a Christian. And the others started, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. So we are like a 9. And we felt very strong. I mean, we were energized. Now they say, you are many, you are many. Now others who were shy, also raised up hands. Now we became 25. Almost all of us were Christians. You were all Christians? Whoa. They were very happy. We have a work, we have a job. We have a job to do. We have a work to do. We are going to kill you. Now, after when they knew that all of us were Christians, maybe the one who didn't rise up, there were like 3 people, the politicians. They went back, and other people also came the 3rd time. That was now evening, like 5 p.m. When they came, they said, good evening, good evening, how are you? Who are the Christians? We raised all of us. Okay, now we want to give you the last chance. Do you know the last chance? Said no. The last chance is to ask you kindly, please, if you want to save your life, renounce Jesus. My brother John, he said, no, we are not going to renounce Jesus. Instead of renouncing Jesus, we are saying, Jesus is a Savior. He can even save our lives today. I said, what? These guys, now they are going to kill us. I said, John, are you crazy? Now, those people were so very angry now. They said, you are despising us. You are despising us. You don't respect us even. You are still claiming that you are Christians. Now, we are going to kill you. Now, Isaac, that's when Isaac said, okay, do it quickly. Because that is the only shortest way to meet our Lord Jesus Christ. And John said, Isaac, what's wrong with you? I said, you are the one who said, we can't renounce Jesus. Now, you have the one who has encouraged me. Now, also let me say that. Now, you guys, do it quickly. Kill us. My brothers and sisters, that's when I proved God whom we believe and we serve. Because when I said, do it quickly, kill us, someone came and stood in front of me. I can't tell you, but I was like, I transformed. I was transformed. I was maybe like someone who has died, who has fallen in the water. Then somebody stood in front of me and again disappeared. But I told them, do it quickly. Shoot us. And they went very fast. In 5 minutes, they came. Oh, yeah. They were like 20, very bitter, with handkerchief, with pieces of clothes, red fabrics, pieces in red, like my brother's T-shirt. They said, get out. Very bitter. Get out. They kicked us. Get out. We went out, and they asked us to stand on the wall where they used to kill people every day. Because every day we are hearing. Now they said, Everybody stand. We stood like that, line. And they started wiping our eyes with all the red pieces of cross. And but before that, I saw that everyone had a gun. And then after they closed our eyes, one said, everyone pray your God, in your God. Tell him that you are coming to meet him. They were very funny. And now we kept quiet because we were arrested. We are blind, we couldn't see. We are just waiting to die. That's the reason why I said that you kill us, because to die was better. To die was better because we were tortured for enough. We are not eating, we are not having, we had no water, we are naked, our clothes were taken, so it was better to die. Now, one captain told, let one shoot, and another one said, no. Every soldier, shoot one. Every soldier, shoot one. We are just in hearing. And I was ready, waiting. And really, they did it. They did it. They started from my right hand, there, down, shooting one, dying, falling down, falling down, falling down, falling down. My brother John was on my right here, close to me, here. Now, John, he died for me, as Jesus did. Instead of me to die, John died for me. Because John, he told me before, Isaac, we are going to die together. Let me come. So he was standing aside there, and he said, Isaac, I want to die with you. That's when he was like on 50 people. Then he came to me. He stood here. But when the guy shoot at John fell down quickly. He fell on me. Now, both of them shot. The one who shot Isaac and John. But the one who shot John, he shot fast, very fast. And John fell on me. And because I was unable to balance myself, so I fell down quickly. Then when that bullet, which was targeting my heart, as others, hit my hand instead of here. Now, because John was shot to death immediately, but for me, because he covered me also, he died. So the bullet touched the hand instead of here. Now I fell down. He fell on me. But yet I was not there. I didn't die, but John died. And the much blood from John covered also me. Now they thought that also I am dead, but I was not dead. Because the bullet I think Mama Manda you saw here. So they just, I think you can see this. Some of you have never seen. So they Zach, you saw this. Zach, you didn't see this before? Yeah. Yeah, it is like, it's also, it goes like, even here is the same thing. Now, when I fell down, and John, remember, all of them were dead, as we are 25, all of us. Now, but inside, I was still breathing a little bit, because the heart was protected. God protected the heart. And I'm telling you, it was not by my power, but God. Now, and I can't tell you that I was very much holy or qualified of not dying others to die that they were sinners. No, but God had purpose. That's why now you have Godfrey. That's why you have Florence. That's what God was planning. Now, after, I can't tell you, I don't know what happened now, but what I was told that like 25 minutes passed, they came with a truck, they started dumping the bodies on the truck. all of us. I was among the dead bodies. They covered us. Every evening, had 3 pit, how do you call it? Like a graves. Yeah, the mass grave. In Jinja Road, this time we got the time. You see Coca-Cola factory, the soda factory, when you will be going Eric will show you the factory. That's where there was a mass grave, where used it to dump dead bodies. There was a jungle. And another road, Massacre Road, that's where we are taken. Also in that forest, has also that grave. And another three graves. Now for us, we are taken on Massacre Road 25 miles from Kampala. That's where they dumped us. But by that evening, that grave was almost on the top, the dead bodies, over the dead bodies. Now we are on the top almost, the 25. Now, when they were dumping, God is one who planned that, me to stay on the top. Because if they could put me first there, I think I couldn't get out. But I don't know how it came. They started dumping other dead bodies. Then me, I was one of the top bodies. They brought the branch of trees, they covered, singing in Arab languages, in Islam, whatever. Allah, Allah, like that. That was the burial ceremony, service. So they left after like 30 minutes or 40 minutes, they left. When they left, that's when I heard a voice, when I was on the top of the bodies. I heard a voice saying, Isaac, 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 we are together in this pit, in this grave. I have been sent down here to spare your life, because in the future, you'll be a father to the fatherless. Either, Lord, I will use you to be a father of fatherless. There is no any way how people will know that I'm a father to the fatherless unless someone stands in that gap. Raise up from the dead. And I rose up. I was dead, I don't know, because I had no blood, I had no anything. Now I started growing like a baby, like maybe 250 yards. That's where I collapsed, I died completely. I lost strength, I was unable to move. I laid it down, I died completely. I could say that I died completely. Now, this story I was told after 4 months, that God brought 2 people who were looking for their cows. It was evening. And the other people, instead of discovering or looking for their cows, or to see their cows, now I was a cow instead of the cows. They saw me. One passed, he was drunk. And another one told the other one, come back. Haven't you seen this man here? Has been killed. But I was, when God, I don't know, God is one who maybe caused him to bend down and to kneel down to check whether really I'm still alive or dead. He found that I was still breathing a little bit. And he called another one, Matthew, come back. This man is still breathing. And briefly, they carried me on their shoulders. They took me in their small houses. The people were looking for the cows. They shot me. They injected me with the cow injection. That's what they told me. They were trying to stop the breeding, the breeding. Belifre, they carried me, they put me in the basket, and they tied me on the bicycle like a goat, like a sheep, like a whatever, and they rode me to another hospital called St. Francis Catholic Hospital, private, like 20 miles. So that whole night up to morning, and I don't know how I survived. I asked them why didn't I die completely. So when I reached there, it is another long story, but believe me, God saved my life in that hospital. These people came back and sold their two cows, and they paid some money there as a deposit. Now, in 2 months, in 3 months, the spies came, police looking for me again. I don't know who told them that boy Isaac, whom you thought that you killed, he's still alive. So the police officer came when then not in the uniform. They were not in the uniform. They were just in T-shirt, two of them. They asked the doctor, one of the doctors, we are looking at our brother here who was shot to death, but he was survived. We have brought some money and the food and the clothes to help him. He's called Isaac Wagaba. But because this man who took me there, they told them the stories. So the doctor said, no, we don't have that patient here. We don't have him. They insisted. They said, please, we know that he's here. He's here. Where is the male ward? They started checking everyone. So this doctor, he ran very fast. And I was on the drip. And he took off everything and he dumped him in the bathroom and rocked. I said, oh, Joshua, you are killing me. I didn't know. But he said, keep quiet. So this man continued to check on the blanket. They could take off the blanket every patient, the men, and with the newspaper. They didn't see. They were very annoyed. So they used to coming to check Isaac. Now, another following week, that doctor, who was an Anglican guy, Episcopal guy, he was a very kind man. He told me, Isaac, do you know what? These people, they want to kill you totally. Now, you better leave this place. Tomorrow, there will be some nuns from Kampala, nuns, Catholic, you know? You call them nuns? This one? So they will be driving their van to Nairobi, to Kenya. Not Nairobi, but Kenya. The place is called Chijabe. Chijabe is a very convent of Catholics. Now, when he asked them, they were German ladies. They said, okay, no problem. No problem. Okay, no problem. We are going to give him a lift. But I didn't know anyone there. I was not a Catholic, but they decided just to save my life to take me there. This doctor told me, you always do like this, do like this, do like this. And I said, how can I do this? I'm not familiar with this. But he told him, you do like this, you do like this. Now I went, they took me. When we reached where you have been at Godfrey's, Busia, that's where, near, that you were near with the border. So when we reached there, the police asked them, what do you have in the boot? Because they fixed him inside, behind of the car, in the boot. They said, they covered me with their baggages. It was inside, under the baggage. Oh, we have only our small baggages here. Okay, go. But Isaac was inside there. So when we reached there, in another town of Kenya, they stopped in the restaurant. That was my first time to eat chips and chicken. in 5 months. That was my first dinner. It's chips and chicken, the German ladies bought for me, and the soda, and the sandals, sapat, how do you call that? That sandals. Yes. And the short. So I became someone now. I became someone. But I was still under the treatment because this one was very bad, and here, and the other parts. Now they took me in that convent. They were asking me questions. When I explained to them, when I shared with them, they were so kind to me. They said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah." "Oh, now where are you going? Do you know someone this way? Someone? Do you have any relative?" I said, "No. I just wanted to escape myself, not to die." Oh, I spent in that convent 2 months. So, and they treated me. They were giving me food until I was able to escape up to Nairobi, where I met Christian churches, Assemblies of God. Do you have assemblies in America? Yes. Yeah, Assemblies of God. And another one was called Presbyterian Church, if you have that. Yeah, so those people also helped me. They contributed some money to go in Kenyatta Hospital for treatment here, because here it was very bad with me. They hated me here. This bothered me very much, almost a full year here. So I was under treatment for almost a year. The churches was helping me. Okay. Now in Nairobi, that was now 78. I stayed in Nairobi 2 years in refugee camp. There was some missionaries who used to come in our camp. Like by that time, Billy Graham was still coming in Africa himself. Except the last time, that's when he came with his son, Crafton. But the first time he used to come by himself. So they used to come in the camp and pray for us and share the word of God with us. And another missionary who used to come to visit us was called, but that one came later, who was called, he was a German guy, I think, Bonke, Leonard Bonke. I don't know whether I've heard it. Leonard Bonke. Yes. Such a people. Okay, they used to come and share with us and they give us some clothes and so on. So that was the life. Now in 80, I came back. No. Before that, God did a miracle for me to hear from Rebecca. Now, one day, I don't know how Rebecca and her father, they wrote to me a letter. I'm sorry. By that time, Rebecca, first time she thought that I was killed. And I thought that Rebecca, she was killed. But later, Rebecca came to know that I was alive. And why? Because I wrote to her a letter through her dad. Now the dad didn't accept that I was alive. They thought that someone is just lying to them. So dad replied to me, "Isaac, if you are the one, tell us this and this and this. If you answer this, we'll know that you are really still alive." So I answered my first name's name, my first son's name, and so on, like a password. So we started communicating with Rebecca. That was 79. Started communicating, sending letters, and so when I was planning to come, Rebecca, we were communicating. Now 80, I decided to come back in Uganda because Amin's government was overthrown 1979. So 80, there was another president who was a Christian. So the churches were now raising up. So some preachers, some pastors who were escaping refugees, they were coming back. Now when I came back, I wanted to go straight to Kampala to start another life. But God said no. The voice said, you will not go. Go back to that very place, which is here. And I asked God, how am I going to live? This house was destroyed. The church which was there was destroyed. God, how am I going to survive? God said, you go in and stay in that place. I will give you the way. I will make a way. Now I came with a bus from Nairobi to Jinja. And I got off out from the bus. I started walking. I had no any means of transport. So I walked till slowly up to here. And here was jungle really. It was jungle, forest, like a forest almost. Huge trees here. But some Muslims who knew that I was killed, they didn't believe that I was the one. Now when they saw me coming this way, where there is a clinic now, I branched, and some followed me to prove whether I am Isaac. When I saw them coming, like 7 people, 8, I started preaching to them the gospel. I am Isaac, who was killed, who was dead, but I'm alive. And Jesus raised me up to preach to you the good tidings. And I'm still saying Jesus is the way, the truth, and life to the Muslims. Now others laughed, others didn't believe. Now among the people who used to come to prove whether I am Isaac, 2 Christians who were here long ago, they came among they came to people who used to come, who was coming to check whether it's a real Isaac. 2 men came who was Christians. They said, yes, this is our pastor. This is our pastor. Now, they were very happy. They hugged me. And that's when all the Muslims were surprised. They knew that really this boy is still alive. Now, I remember here, there was nothing, just jungle. So they took me, they brought the bicycle, and they took me in their small houses up there, up. And I stayed in a small house of one of the men. So from there, in 2 months, we started planning here to make bricks. So others came. Now I started to see that I can start a church with other 2 guys. Now the first Sunday we were 5. The second Sunday we were 9. Like that. But this hand was not operating, only this one. Even now, this one, I can't use it to carry heavy things, no. But I'm using this one, the left. Now, the other people helped me to make bricks, and we constructed here a small house, very small. My bedroom, small bedroom, and another sitting room, and another storage, very small house here. Now that's when I went to bring Rebecca to where she was escaped at her home. From here to Rebecca's home, 30 miles, Kampala Road. So we started another life. That was 80 now. Started another life here. Now in 84, God tested me. You remember, Mama? Now in 84, after 4 years, God tested me with what He told me, that you will be a father to the fatherless. For me, I forgotten, but God was still insisting. Now, I was cutting grass with this one arm outside there in my short. We were very poor with Rebecca. We had no even 1,000 Uganda shillings. Nothing. Very poor. James and Samuel, I remember they had not even clothes. That's when God tested me. Now when I was there thrashing grass, a certain lady came with 2 children. 1 boy, 1 girl. 4 years, 2 years. She was very tiny, very small, with rashes. The mouth here was red. Sores. The kids too. Sores. Horrible. Very bad. And she came and stood in front of me there. I am looking at the pastor of this place. I said, there is no pastor here. There is no pastor here. No pastor here. And she said, oh, I'm looking at a pastor here. Please help me. I want a pastor of this place. You see, this place is still jungle. There was a church here. The church was destroyed. This small house, you see, we are just still constructing it. I'm wondering, which pastor are you looking for? I mean, who is the pastor here? Now, when I was still exchanging those words, Rebecca, she was on the smaller window looking at us. And Rebecca, she came. She met us there. Rebecca asked that lady, what's wrong? That lady, when she saw a fellow lady, she started crying. I'm crying. Rebecca asked, what's the problem? That lady started saying, you see, Mama, my husband died 2 years back. Yes, 2 years back. She left this baby when I was still under pregnant, expecting. And this one was for 1 year, 2 years. And he died. He died AIDS. Now the doctor told me in 6 months also I will die. Now I am looking a place where I can leave these children. I was bitter. Because I knew that Rebecca, she's going to receive these children. Now I was very bitter with Rebecca. So I looked at her like this. Just trying to let her that don't. But Rebecca now, she knelt down. She started touching on those children. Now that lady told me, please, if you are the owner of this house, allow me to leave these children with you here. I said, no. We don't have money. We don't have food. We have also our 2 children. They don't have food. They don't have clothes. I can't. She cried. And Rebecca also started crying. I was very annoyed to Rebecca. I said, Rebecca, we don't have money and now you are crying. Let this lady go. Now, until that lady convinced us to stay with us one night so that tomorrow morning can take the children with her, very early morning. Rebecca also convinced me and they accepted. It was by now almost 7 p.m. So Rebecca tried her best to see whether to get. I remember God blessed us with sweet potato that night. We had some beans. We cooked and we ate. Now we had another small mattress we laid on the sitting room. The lady slept with the children. I am wondering, the small mattress with 3 people, I am wondering. But nothing, we had nothing to do. So we slept. At 5 a.m., I had, when I was in prayers, I had the 2 children crying. They cried very much. And I was forced to go in the sitting room to check. I found the children were lying on the floor themselves. No mama. I went back to tell Rebecca, Rebecca, it seems this mama, she has gone. Rebecca said, no, she cannot. She's outside. And I went outside. Yo. No, mama. The children insisted, crying. Until 7:30, until 8. Now, I went to my neighbor there to explain. My neighbor, he became very mad. He was a Catholic. He said, go to the police. Go to the police and report. You see, that's the problem. What about if that child can die? There, you'll be arrested. You go, you can report. I had a small bicycle. I rode the bicycle to the police up there. When I reached there, I found the police officer. He was a tall guy called Stanley, an Episcopal guy. I explained to him everything. He gave me a paper. Okay, write here statement, how everything has started. I wrote and I sent down pastor. And he read. Signed by Pastor Isaac. You a pastor? You're even a pastor? He was very tall. What kind of a pastor? Now, pastor. You are pastor who? Isaac. Pastor Isaac, tell me. Besides preaching your message on the pulpit, what other business are you expecting to do as a pastor, as your church? What? I said, no, except preaching. Look, preaching? Go and have the other children and help them and feed them. That's what your Bible tells you to do. Yeah. It was like a God backing me. Do you know what happened? I was trembling. I was shaking like this. Now what I did, I saw like a God backing me. Go! Now, what I did, I was very, very scared. And Amanda, you know what happened? I left my bicycle there, yes. I ran and I forgot the bicycle because I was... But for your information, when I was going to the police, Rebecca didn't like. I told Rebecca, Rebecca said, no, don't waste time. Let us have these children. I said, no, I'm going to report this case. So now and again, when I reached there, the other people were like, as if they have been with Rebecca. So when I was coming, I remembered when I was almost going to reach at Godfrey's place. And I remembered that I had a bicycle. Then I went back. And they laughed at me. All those police officers were like 6 outside. They laughed at me. They said, look at him. Even you have forgotten your bicycle. You can't take care of those children. That is a true religion. Don't just preach. But the true religion, you have to take care of those children. Hey. Now I rode the bicycle. When I reached in front of them, I found Rebecca. She was with other 2 ladies. Were feeding the children. They brought the clothes, the dress, the shirt, the short, the food, banana, what, bread. Said, now look at Rebecca has caused the problem here. We don't have food, we don't have money. And now look, Rebecca, what she's doing now. This lady. Now Rebecca asked me, Isaac, what happened to the police? I said, Because if I could tell her that also the police officers backed me, she could say, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Now I said, no, that's it. Now, that is how Canaan Children's Home started. And I can't lie to you that I have never made an application to somewhere that bring your child here. No. Now, those 2, God healed those children. They were infected, positive, HIV, but God healed them. I can say only God, not medicine. God healed them. Now one is a carpenter in a very far from here. He's a carpenter, married with 4 children, but he's now an elderly guy. The sister was young. She's a teacher in elementary school. She's married with 5 children. Those are the first born here. And so that's how Canaan children started, like that. Thank you very much.